So, yesterday we talked about inequalities and we talked about circles. And you're going to do a practice today on inequalities and circles. So, I want to make sure we review that. So, yesterday we did some practice with inequalities by rewriting those as equations and then putting our symbol back in. And we said yesterday there's only one exception to this. When we multiply or divide by a negative number, the inequality sign switches. So let's just do this one-step equation right here, and we will move on to a two-step equation. Okay? So I have the problem 18 is greater than or equal to negative 2x. And I want to figure out what x equals. Remember, anytime we solve an inequality or equation, we're trying to figure out what x would be. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite it. So I'm going to rewrite it with an equal sign. Okay? Then I'm going to solve that equation. I know that this operation, negative 2x, is multiplication. So I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to divide by negative 2. Negative 2 divided by negative 2 is just x. 18 divided by negative 2 is 9, and it's negative because they're different signs. So now I have x equals negative 9. Then we are going to put the symbol back in. Now, we have to ask ourselves, did I divide or multiply by a negative number? And I did. So this greater than or equal to symbol is now going to be less than or equal to negative 9. Okay? And I want to switch this around because I want to make sure my x is on the left side. So my alligator's mouth for my inequality is facing the x. So it wants to eat the x. So all I'm doing is I'm just rewriting this. Excuse me. So it was reading negative 9 is less than or equal to x. And all I did was say x is greater than or equal to negative 9. That's the same inequality, it's just flipped around. So I rewrote it as an equation, I solved my equation, I put the symbol back in, paying attention to that negative sign when I multiply or divide. Now I want to check my work. So x is greater than or equal to negative 9. I want to find a number that's greater than or equal to negative 9. So I'm going to choose negative 8 because it's less negative. That means it's greater. All right. So negative 2 times negative 8 is positive because they're the same sign, and 2 times 8 is 16. 18 is greater than or equal to 16. That is true. So I know I'm right. So now I need to graph my inequality. I'm going to put negative 9 here, and I want greater than or equal to. Yesterday we said when we draw our circle, if it is greater than or less than or equal to, then it has to be a closed circle. It includes that number. And then I'm going to draw my arrow this way. Okay? So that's a one-step equation. Now we're going to do one that has two steps, and this is the same thing as what we have been doing. So here is our inequality. 10 plus 3k is less than or equal to 22. Remember, what's the first step again? Rewrite it. 10 plus 3k is less than or equal to 22. Second, solve it. Oh, shucks. I rewrote it and I didn't take out the inequality symbol, guys. Sorry. Equals 22. My bad. All right, when I solve an equation, I want the variable term by itself. I got to get rid of this 10. This is 0. I have 3k here. 22 minus 10 is 12. Now I'm going to do the opposite again. This is multiplication. I'm going to divide by 3. K is equal to 4. All right. So now the third thing is put my symbol in. And did I multiply or divide by a negative number? I divided here, but I did not divide by a negative number. So when I put my symbol back in, I do not have to switch it. Oh, it's 4. Okay, so that's my new inequality. And then I can check it, and then I can graph it. All right, so these are your steps. Rewrite it as an equation with an equal sign. Solve it just like you would an equation. Then put your symbol back in. Okay? So now what I want to review is our circles. So yesterday we did our circumference activity, and we talked about how diameter and circumference are related by that number called pi. So remember, pi is equal to 3.14, or we can use that pi symbol that's on our Desmos calculator. And we talked on Monday about radius and diameter. And remember, radius is from the center to the edge. That's radius. Diameter is all the way across, but it goes through. Wow, that was terrible. Sorry, guys. Let's try that again. So diameter goes from side to side all the way across that circle, but it goes through the center of the circle. Okay, don't forget that. And we know that there are 2 radiuses and 1 diameter. And then if I want to find radius, it's half the diameter. So for the airplane propeller, from radius to diameter, I just multiply by 2. So that's 48 inches. And then from diameter to radius, I just divide by 2, which is 1.5 feet. Now I need to find circumference. And remember, circumference is perimeter for a circle. It's around the outside edge. So I'm measuring the outside edge of that circle, right? Okay. So circumference is pi times diameter. We learned that yesterday. So for the wagon wheel, circumference is pi times diameter. I'm going to multiply by 3 for that diameter, okay? And it tells us in our problem up here, it says 3.14 for pi. So when I multiply that, I get 9.42 feet, okay? So 9.42 would be my circumference. So all we're doing is using this formula. This is a formula that you need to memorize. Pi times diameter equals circumference. So let's do the airplane propeller. 48 is my diameter. And I'm just going to multiply by pi, or 3.14, and I get 150.72, and it's inches. So for that, I would write 150.72 inches. But for this last one, the orange slice, it gives us circumference, and we have to figure out diameter and radius. Well, if I know that circumference is pi times diameter, I can just plug these values in. Circumference is 20, I have pi, but I don't have diameter. So all I need to do is divide by pi, or 3.14, and I will get diameter is 6.369, yada, 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 but I want 2 decimal places. So I'm going to round to 6.37. So I'm going to put that number in, and it's centimeters. And I want to do that divided by 2 to get my radius. And I get 3.19 centimeters. Okay? that's rounding as well. So, given the radius or the diameter or the circumference, you can find the other two. So make sure that when you do your activity today, that you are looking at what does it give you and what do you need to find, okay? So your activity, I don't have it up here, actually. Here it is. So your activity today, I give you these formulas, even if you don't need them, and it gives you the radius, and you have to find the other two values. And then the last one for circumference, it asks for the radius, and that's how far will you move in one turn? Well, think about it. One turn of my wheel is one rotation all the way around. So if you see the word one turn or one rotation, that means circumference, okay? So find the circumference for that. And then you have 4 problems to practice with inequalities. And make sure you pay attention if you're multiplying or dividing by a negative number. All right? If you have questions, email me. I'll be happy to Zoom with you if you need to. Make sure you get this done so we can go over it on Thursday.